I want to ask you about something that's become a bit of a trend we're seeing in these earnings report. You're not providing long-term guidance. Why not? Why don't you feel comfortable enough to provide long-term guidance?
Well, we don't have the tools group, which is our biggest business, doesn't have backlog. So we don't have that view of it. We do have confidence in our future. We just don't think it's particularly useful for us to do that. And in fact, over time, the stock has done pretty well. The stock was up last year very nicely, and I don't think that's a necessary component of it. Generally, we talk to our investors. We give them a view of the future. We give them our views on where the market is, what new products we have. We think that's enough for them to figure it out. And it's worked so far. You know, yesterday didn't work so well. It was down 4.5%. The shorts kind of, dominated the selling. And people focus on a tools group. They sell directly to technicians, and they are afflicted by even though their garages are full and they have a lot of work, they're afflicted by the uncertainty of the day.
Well,
the other two divisions.
Wait, Nick, let me jump in for a second. Then you're making me want to double down on this question. How are you so certain about the future if you're saying a lot of your customers are uncertain and their sentiment isn't great? How can you feel so confident?
Because we have three divisions. One of the people didn't look at this. We have one division who is basically encountered this uncertainty for a long time. You know, the garages are filled, they're uncertain. So they've shifted to smaller payback items, things like hand tools, as opposed to the box behind me. So they're buying a portion of the product line. We shifted our manufacturing, our design, and our marketing to kind of expand that, and we've narrowed the gap. But the other two divisions, one that sells to the repair shop owners and managers, and the other ones that sell to critical industries, they had record quarters. And that kept us, for example, sales were up, but it wasn't only that. The profitability was 22.5%, and that was an all-time record for the fourth quarter.
All right. Nick, to your point, commercial and industrial. Wait, I want to actually bolster your point for a second. Commercial and industrial grew 4%. That's aerospace, that's oil, it's a lot of, like you said, critical industries. So what are you hearing from them? And I want to ask also what you're hearing from them specifically tied to tariffs. How do they see these tariffs impacting their business? You just said it's a record quarter for that segment, and the sales were up 4%, but what are they telling you going forward?
Well, the technicians are kind of worried about I guess the blizzard of things that are coming out of Washington now. Words like Gaza and Greenland and Panama and stuff like that. The larger businesses are kind of positive about the view because they see that this administration is positive versus business in general. And so that is overriding the situation. The tariffs and the other things are things they'll have to deal with. We haven't heard from our customers any attenuation in that area because of those. But I suppose, Frank, it's early days. You know, the National Association of Manufacturers had Jay Timmons on the other day, and he forecasts that if the tariffs go in like on Canada and Mexico, it will be worth $144 billion. That downward, and that has to be some effect. But I think in the near term, people aren't necessarily worried so much about that right now, except maybe the auto industry, because it's unclear what's actually going to happen in this situation.
All right. Also want to look
ahead. So those businesses have been still pretty strong.
Okay. I want to look at, we got the jobs report coming up later today. I'm looking last month, manufacturing has actually lost 13,000 jobs. I want to talk to you about your business in particular. How is hiring right now? And also, how are tariffs going to impact you? We've talked to you about this before. I know you do a lot of domestic manufacturing, but how do you see the potential of tariffs and maybe even retaliatory tariffs impacting your business? And give us a little kind of color when it comes to hiring as well.
Okay, three things. One, first of all, we make in the markets where we sell. So we're kind of a poster child for American manufacturing. 80% of what we sell off those vans and the tools groups made right here in America. And a hand tool is 50% labor. So we've been able to do that for a long time because we customize the product. So that works for us. And so the import tariffs aren't really a big factor. Of course, we're not immune to them, but we are very resistant to the effect. The retaliatory tariffs, it depends on which market you're talking about. Canada, we have pretty good sales into Canada, so we'd have to figure out a way around that. Mexico, not so much, and the other places not as much because we make in those markets. So for tariffs, that's not necessarily we're shaking in our boots as far as us.
All right.
As far as us, we know how to deal with that.
What's going on with hiring, though? What's going on with hiring and wages? You need a lot of skilled workers, obviously, to make tools. So are you having increased wages?
No, we increase the wages every year since the great financial recession.
Yeah, of course, wages do technically go up, but you know what I'm talking about.
We didn't have to do it exceptionally. No, we didn't have to do that because I'm telling you, Snap-on is a great company. People who work for Snap-on and use Snap-on tools know that it's the outward sign of the pride and dignity they take in their professions, and therefore we didn't lay off in the pandemic. So we give stability and pride and good wages, so we don't have so much trouble hiring. At least Snap-on. Generally, if you talk to the National Association of Manufacturers, though, they'd say there's 428,000 jobs open today. And this is why it was so important when the president said the other day that this is Technical Education Month, because we need skilled workers and we need them to believe and understand how important what they do is.